Good afternoon, everybody. We'll greet each other. Today was day 5 of camp for us, 5th day of practice. We are about getting into the first full week since we've had our first initial team meeting. We're going through morning installs and afternoon practices. We get walkthroughs in, and things have been going extremely well for us. So a lot of competition, a lot of energy and excitement. We're seeing a lot of new faces, and like we said before, we're one of the few coaching staffs that really hadn't seen this team practice before. So the 15-odd coaches and GAs that we have right now, this is our first opportunity to really get a look at our players in person for the first time. So we like what we see. We have a lot of work to do and a lot of ways to go, like everybody else this time of the year. But things are moving on pace and on timing for where we are in the season right now.
You said you like what you see. I know it's kind of somewhat early, but what good things have you seen from this group?
I think there's a connection in the locker room right now that's really strong. Adversity sometimes can bring guys closer together, and I think that this situation has really brought the leaders have done a great job of stepping up and has brought the leaders closer together. I think our staff has done an outstanding job of connecting with the young men in that locker room as well. And there's a lot of coach to player and player to coach trust and connection going on. And then you're seeing the guys step up and make plays that you expect to step up and make plays. Guys like Kyle Vantrease is having a really good camp for us right now. Kevin Marks is going to feel like he's going to have an outstanding year for us this year. Jake Fuzak is doing extremely well at the offensive line. Klink is doing an outstanding job at guard right now for us. And then on the defensive side, guys that you would expect like James Patterson, Taylor Riggins, he's doing extremely well. Eric Black's doing extremely well. Our new grad transfer corner, Jamarcus Ingram from Texas Tech, is really doing a great job for us. Josh Rogers, our new 3 technique. Wallow, who played well last year as a freshman at D-tackle, he's stepping up and making a ton of plays, blew up a few plays. He's been extremely disruptive himself. And our kickers have been kicking the ball well. Finnegan and punting the ball, and Alex McNulty kicking the ball. I think he's been 7 of 8 of all his field goal attempts so far throughout camp, so he's doing a great job handling his responsibility as well. And I think what we're seeing most of all is that there's a ton of energy. There's a ton of excitement. Guys are bouncing from drill to drill and from station to station, and it's like we've been together longer than what we've have. And that's a credit to the coaches, and it's a credit to the players and the connection that's going on right now so far throughout camp.
The new recruits you've added and the grad transfers, are they behind some of the returning players, or is that playing field kind of even because it's
I think the only fair thing you can really do is we've done a great job of having 2 spots in our practices. So like a lot of our 7-on-7 and team drills, we have 2 different sessions going on where guys are getting a lot of equal reps right now, which I think is the right approach to have when you have so many new players. And we're in a big evaluation mode just because we haven't seen a ton of in-person live football from this team. So there's a lot of equity going on in terms of having some of these new grad transfers and JUCOs. I mean, you got a young freshman like Solomani Bambara that signed with us this summer. He's going to be an outstanding player, we feel, and he's only in his 5th day of fall camp and training. So we're still getting evaluation on him. Rickham Strick's doing a great job at one of the defensive end spots. He's a very young player, but those 2 young players, when you 2-spot the practices, they get reps that they wouldn't have gotten if there was just 1 spot of practice going on. So with the 2 drills that have been going on, the reps have really balanced out, and we're giving our players an opportunity to have development through reps. I think one of the things that moves the needle the most with a young player in his career is just getting the reps that he needs to get. And when you have one session going on one end and then another session going on the other end, he's getting the reps, and some of these young guys are giving themselves an opportunity to show us what they can do.
Kevin Marks, what has stood out about him so far in the first few days of practice? What in particular has stood out about him?
I just think you see really a running back that really has a total package. I mean, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can grind out the 3, 4, and 5-yard runs. He's got great balance and body control and vision, and he's got long speed to take it to the house, which he did in the last practice. I love his attitude. I love his leadership. I love his consistency right now. He's running the ball extremely hard. He's running the ball like he's trying to prove a point, which is he's running the ball with a lot of conviction and confidence. And that's going really well right now. So we got to keep him going in that right direction, and we feel like he's going to have really an outstanding year for us.
I mean, do you project him as a solo back, kind of running the show in the backfield right now?
I think it would probably be too unfair right now to say just a solo back, because we have a talented backfield with Ron Cook. McDuffie's a talented back. There's two young backs with Mike Washington and Henderson that are doing a really good job as well. The great thing that we have going on right now is there's a lot of young good players, and there's a lot of older experience, and it's a good balance at the running back position. So Shane Montgomery's doing an outstanding job of getting the ball in the hands of the right people at the right time, and like we said, we're just letting guys play football right now, coaching and teaching and evaluating, correcting mistakes, and just it's a big evaluation process for us right now with our 5th practice going on today. So we feel like there's real talent. There's real ability in that room, and we're just going to continue to develop it and put those guys in the right position to be successful.
When does evaluation turn into
Sure.
decision making?
I think evaluation never stops. I think it's just a 24/7, 365. You're always looking to find out. I just think the best programs, they create an atmosphere of competition. Players know that at the end of the day, I have to be consistent. I got to show up every single day. I think any other atmosphere and environment than that is a mistake. So you are constantly truly evaluating, and then ultimately, as you evaluate, decisions have to be made. Somebody's going to start. Right now, Kevin Marks is the guy, but we feel very confident in the other backs in the room to get in there and carry the load and make plays. And I think we do ourselves a disjustice if we didn't, get the ball in the hands of like a Ron Cook and a McDuffie as well, and let these young backs also get out there and show what they can do. So we got a good problem going on in the running back room in terms of there's good experience and there's good young talent, and we're going to continue just to coach and teach and develop.
Do you expect the running game to be as much of a strength and as much of a focus as it's been the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think any successful program, you got to run the ball. You got to run the ball when people know you're going to run the ball and still run the ball effectively. I have a run the ball. We have a run the ball approach and mindset. I think, when you win championships and you really stand on the podium and hold trophies, it's usually because you ran the ball very, very well and you can stop the run on the other side. So our approach definitely is going to be to get the hands in those running backs' hands, get the ball in the hands of those running backs and let them run the ball. But then we also have talented guys on the outside. Keon Williams is a grad transfer that came over from Eastern Michigan. That's doing a really good job right now. He can make plays. He can win one-on-ones. He can get open and catch the ball. And then you have an older, experienced guy like Dom Johnson who's doing a good job as well. So the approach for us right now is definitely we're going to run the ball. That formula's been proven here. Running the ball has been effective here. There's been a long tradition going all the way back to Brandon Oliver of backs being able to run the ball here. We're definitely going to take that approach. But then we also have a talented quarterback in Kyle, as well as Matt Myers, to get the ball in the hands of some of these weapons on the outside.
Coach, just thinking of your experience as a defensive coach and just knowing that you've got some experience returning on the defensive side of the ball, how have you been able to really imprint that on that side of the ball and really just get your culture to be really fostered as camp has been opening up?
Yeah, I think when you look at building the foundations of a successful defense, I think the first thing is what's the vision for the defense? What do we want to? When we watch ourselves play, what do we want to see? What's the play style? What do you want to see of yourself? We had our guys go through an exercise where every player wrote down what his vision of a successful defense looked like, and then we had a chance for every player to stand up and read those out loud. And it's just interesting what you hear from some of the guys in terms of the mindset and the toughness and the grit and the discipline and guys swarming around the football. So it's not me telling you what we're going to look like. You're going to tell me, and then I'll tell you how we can get there. I think every successful defensive player that I've ever been around, from Khalil Mack to the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys and talented DBs like Trayvon Diggs and Donovan Wilson, we had and young DBs in Dallas that did an outstanding job, and Jalen Smith at linebacker for the Cowboys. All the guys had a chip on their shoulder. They had something to prove every single day. They had a relentlessness about them, a toughness about them. I think when you start adding the ingredients to a successful defense, whether it's high school all the way to the NFL or right here at Buffalo, those ingredients don't change. And then you teach the fundamentals and the technique and all the scheme requirements that go along a player learning his job responsibilities. So those things are all getting put in place right now. You know, scheme is just what to do. You're teaching somebody what to do, and then you give them the fundamentals of you know, the traits that are required regardless of scheme, like your tackling, you're getting off of blocks, your pursuit, you're leveraging the football, how we attack the ball when it's in the air, how we pick up a ball off the ground, how do we separate a ball carrier and get the ball out of his hands. And you add in all those ingredients and just get those guys lined up and let them play connected and confidence. And we feel like that's going to give us the makings of what we feel like is going to give us a defense that we can win games with.
How has the health of your team so far? Has everybody been able to make it through the first 5 practices healthy? No injuries?
Yeah, it's been good. Our strength and conditioning staff with Coach Cole did an outstanding job this summer. I remember our last one of our last workout sessions that we had back in July. The guys were strong. They're in shape right now. We're practicing in the mid-mornings and a little bit into the afternoon, just small piece of the afternoon. You know, we got that 3 o'clock kickoff or 3:30 kickoff against Nebraska, which is going to be a hot game that we got to get ourselves prepared for. But our players have done an outstanding job with the conditioning. They're in shape. They're holding up really strong. And the best part, our last 15 minutes of practice have been really, they've been our strongest parts of practice. So we're not fading, we're ascending, we're climbing into the last portions of practice. We're challenging our players, but guys are in shape, and I think we're probably no different from any other team this time of the year. Guys going through their little nicks and bruises and those things like that, but relatively speaking, we're pretty healthy for where we are right now this season.
How heavily have you relied on your returners in these first couple of weeks of practice, and especially the guys that have been around here for 5-6 years?
Lean on those guys a lot. It's a great group of older guys. You know, we have a unity council made up of about 13 older players that we lean on very heavily, just from perspective, and they've been through the cycle they've been through. You know, older players, you know, the challenge and charge you have with those guys are, you know, you need to prepare and perform like an older player. You need to conduct yourself like you've been here for 4 or 5 years. You need to be leading and showing the way to the mass amount of, you know, younger players that we have. You know, we've added 27 new players since June 1 has begun. We signed 10 grad transfer and JUCOs since June the 1st. There's a lot of new, a lot of talented players, but a lot of new. And you lean on the older guys and you challenge the older guys. Like, you know, I do hold James Patterson to a higher standard. I hold Jake Fuzak to a higher standard. I hold Klink to a higher standard. I hold these older players, our running back Marks, to a higher standard, because if it's not starting with you, your best players have to be your best people. And if it doesn't come from you, it's not going to come from anywhere. And when you have that senior leadership in place, then it lays the foundation for everybody else to fall in line. So we feel like we have the makings of great, older, talented players, a lot of youth that has youthful talent. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to do things wrong. They're going to go in the wrong direction. That's why we practice. That's why we watch film and correct. And then you got to add those things together through leadership and culture and lay out, get yourself in position to go out and have a championship season.
Coach, you said last week that competition is going to be a big part of camp. What are you looking for when you're talking about that? Like, what is it a guy can do to stand out in this competition period over this next month, especially when you have position battles like Kyle Ventries, guys like that trying to earn that starting spot?
I'm going to give you 2 answers. What can a guy do to win the competition battles? Number 1 is win. I want to see you consistently win. You know, football's 11 on 11. When the ball snapped, it's 1 on 1. And what we do is we tabulate all the wins and losses throughout the day, every day, and we show the team those win and loss battles. We get everybody in one room, and we celebrate, we hoist up, we praise, we acknowledge the winners, because the game is about winning. The game's about winning your individual one-on-one battle, and then who can consistently win. I think you know, there's a compounding interest that goes along with winning and the consistency that it takes to win day in and day out. You look at all the greats like a Tom Brady, like a Michael Jordan, like how Kobe Bryant was, and just the guys that consistently win, the guys that do it over and over and over again. If you win, we're going to find a place to get you on the football field. And for our training camp, you know, the culture of competition is a foundation building block for our culture, for our program in general. It's one of the 10 building blocks we have in our culture. culture. It's just having that competitive greatness, the love of competition, the love of wanting to go out there and compete every single day, and then us as coaches. Putting those guys in a position to go out there and be successful, and then let's watch the film and see who wins, and then let's point it out, and so because you're always gaining the trust and the respect of the locker room, and I think when you point out the winners, everybody's very clear on why this guy's on the football field, because he wins.
What do you think about your non-conference schedule and the opportunities you have with a group that didn't have those kind of opportunities last year?
Sure. I mean, I think non-conference. I think it's a great mix. It's a challenge. It's going to be competitive. We open up right at home. We got to get ourselves ready to play with an FCS opponent with Wagner coming in here in 24 days. And then we're going to go on the road to Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm sure that place is going to be packed and sold out, and they can't wait to get football back going in Lincoln. So we know the challenges and what's in front of us there, and we'll get ourselves ready to go. We'll get ourselves ready to play, and really have a lot of respect for what they do in Lincoln and the tradition and pride that they have in that program. And then we got a great mix of a home and away with Coastal Carolina, and then going to Old Dominion. So we feel like with Coastal coming in, as I think they were preseason top 25 this year, and then Old Dominion, they've really kind of went through 2 redshirt years a little bit, just from not having played last year and then going through this training camp again. So they're probably chomping at the bit themselves to get themselves on the football field as well. So we'll get a little bit better feel for Old Dominion, having that being the 4th game and having at least three opponents before them to see what they're about and what they do. But at the end of the day, training camp in football is so much about yourself and getting yourself to be prepared and to play your best and to be at your best mentally and emotionally and physically, and the connection of the locker room and the connection of the coaching staff and the confidence and conviction and beliefs that goes along with, having a training camp that tests you and challenges you. And I think when you put yourself in opportunities to challenge yourself and you overcome those challenges, then you can create an identity, and that identity can carry you through a season of what you're really all about.
Coach, there is a video circling around Instagram. Did you hand out a scholarship to a player,
We
Sean
did.
Dolak?
So proud of. Well, first off, I will say this: our administration made it possible with Mark Allnut and Nate Wills, and with the super seniors and the COVID seniors coming back, it really puts a little bit of a strain on any athletic department. And our administration did a great job of allowing us to do this and allowing us to. We didn't give anybody anything. It's something he earned, and it's a message to all the younger players in our locker room and to all the. Even some of the walk-ons in the locker room, that when you do right and you work your butt off every day, there's a place for you here at Buffalo. If you love the game and you're committed to a process and are committed to a way of doing things, and Sean Dolak, he's one of the guys that did that. It was a great moment. I mean, the tears on his face, the genuineness that poured out from the love that our team has for him, and the humility that he has, and he goes about his business every single day, just with a smile on his face. He steals every rep he can get. He's at the front of every single line. He busts his butt on special teams every single day. It's nothing that we did, it's something that he did, and we were just happy to give him the opportunity to reward him for his hard work and his efforts.
Are there any other walk-ons that have been put on scholarship this camp?
Not since I've been here, but we definitely have our eyes. Our program is going to be one about hard work, and there's always a place for you here at Buffalo if you're a guy that wants to work hard. So I think there's a great ripple effect that was sent through our locker room, that leadership and hard work and toughness and work ethic, that has no rank. Scholarship or non-scholarship or senior or freshman, good information and good can come from anywhere. So we're looking and finding all the champions and the good that can come from anywhere. And when we find it, we're going to point it out and recognize it. And I think that's just one way that we did it with Dolak. And I love him. I just love the celebration, the genuineness and the smile on his face, and just proud of his work. And I think as much as it's a feel-good story, as much as it is that he's going to go out there and he's going to play his butt off this year as well. He's going to make plays for us. And I'm excited about that part too.
Where do you see the walk-on program fitting in your recruiting and roster building here?
Sure. Well, we have 85 that are on scholarship, and we're probably a little bit over that right now because of COVID right now, because of the super seniors that came back. But we also have 121 members on the football team right now in training camp. So there's a healthy amount of guys that are out there competing every day that are not on scholarship. That the message was clear and sent that go if you want to find out what to do and how to get on. How can I have an opportunity to be put on scholarship? Well, just watch what Dolak did and follow his lead.
The transfers who came in from other programs, are they on scholarship as well?
Sure. Yeah, they are. We had 10 of them that we put on scholarship.
Okay.
that were not here before since June the 1st.
Coach, just thinking about your experience having coached in the Power 5, even having coached here before under Coach Quinn. What are some of the things that those head coaches that you coached under before helped you with to prepare you for this first head coaching role?
Yeah, I'd first say that I'm a D2 coach that really had to grind his way to the top. My first coaching job was at Valdosta State University, my first full-time coaching job, and I say that with a lot of pride because I know what it's like to go back there and wash clothes and paint a wall if you have to, and do what you have to do to get a program running. And I'm thankful for the beginnings that I had in coaching, and then going on to James Madison University, where I learned a lot about player evaluation. We were able to recruit a lot of NFL talented players that quote unquote didn't have all the Power 5 offers, but we out-evaluated people. And we had guys like Dean Marlowe, who's still a safety in the NFL right now, that we recruited right out of here at Long Island. He went to Holy Cross. He came down there to James Madison. He was a multiple-time All-American. He's still playing in the NFL right now. He was with the Bills last year. He's with the Detroit Lions right now. And then going through that process at James Madison University of learning how to evaluate players and what to look for in players and then how to put them in the right position was a big part of my development. We came here to Buffalo in 2012 and 13 and really grinded ourselves into a bowl game, and really all the things that go along with not inheriting necessarily at the time wasn't really a tradition-rich program of a lot of success, but finding a way to put ourselves in a position to be successful and getting ourselves to that bowl game, which we really felt like laid a lot of the foundation to like something like this that we're standing in here right now, where you have a donation from Murchie to build one of the best indoors in the country. And so you learned a lot of things at Buffalo and in terms of teaching and coaching, and then went on to Iowa State with Paul Rhodes and had an opportunity just to learn about football at the Power 5 level. You go down to Mississippi State with Dan Mullen, one of the best coaches in the United States of America. Just so much from a complete 360-degree look of a program and how to run every single aspect of a program. One of my good friends I spent a year with was PJ Fleck at Minnesota. The recruiting, the culture, the connection, the teaching, the way a football community, a football program can really impact your community was big, and really the success of your locker room and how it can lead to the success and the connection of an entire city is something I really saw and witnessed firsthand. Went down to Texas A&M. I'm a Texas native, and we're able to put together back-to-back top 6 classes and really put them in a position collectively as a staff where they're playing for Orange Bowls and right in the middle of it and thick of things for national championships, which is where they are right now. Coach Fisher, national championship head coach. Just so many lessons when you work with somebody that's hoisted a trophy, the trophy over their head. When you just sit in staff meetings for 2 years, my book's full of notes and just so many things. And he's a guy that's still call and lean on now. And then going on to the Cowboys in the NFL with Mike McCarthy, again, Super Bowl champion head coach, just from the running a program, from the systematic approach. Good coaches have a plan. Exceptional coaches have a system. And I think the systematic approach to implement offense, defense, special teams, and a culture, something I really learned in Dallas, and then getting the opportunity to come back here firsthand myself. You call some of these coaches you met, and some of these coaches you know, and some of these coaches you got relationships with, but nobody's really been in the situation that we are here, where we were in terms of 115 days out to get ourselves together and ready to go out there and play a football game. So we're in great shape. We're right where I feel like we need to be for this time of the year. A ton of work in front of us, but the work's being done, and we are working in the right direction. We just got to continue to back it up with consistency.
And just going off that, Coach, just talking about that short turnaround, but also too for you to be back here, back in Buffalo. How special has it been for you to be back?
It's been special to see so many familiar faces. It's been special to see the development that's taking place. I have such a unique perspective because I was here almost 10 years ago. The field house wasn't here. I watch our basketball team, and they're playing in the tournament. I watch our women's basketball team. They're playing in the tournament. Our football team just had the best GPA in school history. You look at the bowl games that have taken place. You look at that Buffalo is becoming a tradition-rich program, from an athletic department in all phases, in all areas. It's a town of winners. It's a program of winners right now. And the development that's taking place, and then the actual resources where people are really coming together and they're giving of their time and they're giving of their resources to build great facilities and do great things. I go over there, and our locker room is one of the best locker rooms in the United States of America anywhere, and what was done in there is outstanding. So there's so much development that's taking place, and I got a unique perspective just being here before and then coming around again and seeing what from Danny White to Alan Green to Ward Manuel to now our athletic director Mark Allnut and what they've been able to do. It's just been nothing short of special.
Coach, a name that's come up a few times is Jake Fusak. Just what have you seen from him, and what do you like about him so much? Because you talked about his leadership and just some of the things that he's done.
Yeah.
Just what's the impression he's left on you here at the early parts of camp?
Consistency, toughness, grit, winner, leader, great player, great human being. I wish I could package him and just make him over again. I just love him. Love everything about him. He's exactly what we look for in offensive linemen. Guys respond to him. When he talks, everybody gets quiet, and he sits in the front of all meetings. He's at the front of everything that we do, and we just love everything that he brings to the table. And he always reminds me, Coach, I'm connected in Buffalo. I know everybody around the town, so he's always trying to make sure I'm good. You need a guy over here. I got a guy. He's got a sock guy, a moving guy. He knows everybody around here. So those are the intangibles outside of his play. But we love him. We love everything he brings to the table.
Anything else for Coach Mo? All right,
Thanks,
thank
guys.